Hey guys, so today we're doing chapter 1, lesson 6. We're going to be multiplying by one-digit numbers. This will be pages 27 through 30 in your math book, your big book. The I can statement that we have is I can fluently multiply multi-digit whole numbers by one-digit number and using estimation to verify my product. Okay, so we're going to be using estimation, and it's very important because estimation helps us verify if our answer or our product is correct. So please make sure that you are taking notes in Cornell format and writing your I can statement. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next page. All right, so on page 27, unlock the problem, real world. We're going to be talking about this problem. Each day, an airline flies 9 commercial jets from New York to London, England. Each plane holds 293 passengers. If every seat is taken on all flights, how many people fly on this airline from New York to London in one day? All right, so when we look at word problems, we got to figure out what are the key words as well as the details that we need to figure out the answer. So we want to find out how many people fly on this airline in one day. And we know that every day the airline flies a total of 9 of these jets. So 9 planes fly out from New York to London, England every day. One plane holds 293 people or passengers. So if we wanted to find that, if we want to find the answer, we could do 293 plus 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 293, which is going to take a long time. There's an easier way to do this. It is called the standard algorithm of multiplication, which is what we are going to be doing. So before you do any standard algorithm, you should estimate your answer. And I'm going to explain why estimation is super important. So you're going to go ahead and round 293 to the nearest 100. So 293 rounded to the nearest 100 is 300. And then we'll leave our 9 the same. Now, we need to go ahead and multiply the basic facts. So I'm going to just show you what the basic fact we have here is 3 times 9. And then later multiply it by 100 because the 3 is in the hundreds place. So 3 times 9 equals 27. Good. And then 27 times 100 gives me 2,700. Good. So our answer needs to be close to 2,700. So the question here is, but Ms. Gomez, why do I need to estimate before solving? Well, that's a really good question because as humans, we tend to make mistakes sometimes. And it's part of life. We all do it. But estimation allows you to take advantage of the multiplication problem. So it's basically like a little benchmark that you have. So you know that your answer has to be near this number, your estimation. So it's really helpful whenever maybe you did a mistake when you were multiplying. Maybe we did 3 times 9 and we got the answer of 10 because we made a mistake. And 10 times 100 is only 1,000, which does not give us our estimation close enough to 2,700. So it's really important to have estimation because that's our benchmark. Okay, so we'll make sure every time that we are doing multiplication, we will be estimating. So after we estimate, we must multiply by the ones. So we must multiply our 9 times 3. And 9 times 3 gives us what? Good. You should have said 27 ones. And the reason why we say ones is because the 3 is in the ones place. And this is going to help us in the future. Now, The 7, which is in the ones place as well, will go here, right? Below the ones place. But the 2, because it's in the tens place, we must move it up to the tens place. And now I'm going to change the colors. And up here we have our 2. Okay, there is our 2 up on the tens place. So describe what this blue digit 2 means. Good, you should have stated that that 2 is not 2 ones, but 2 tens, also known as 20. So that's why we regroup it up into the tens place. Now, after we multiply our ones, then we move to the next place value, the next larger place value, which is the tens. Now we need to multiply our 9 over here times our 9 tenths. So 9 times 9 is a basic of 81 tens. Okay? Now we need to add the regrouped tens. That's this 2 way up here. We must add it. So we have to do 81 tens plus 2 tens give me 83 tens. And then we place 3 in the tens place. And that's why the 3 is under the tens. And then we move that 8 up here to the hundreds, which I will change to yellow. Nope, terrible color to see. Nope. Let's do an orange. Okay, so our 8 is in the yellows. Is in yellow. I'm going to erase that. It's kind of difficult to see. Let's just do green. Ooh. Okay, so the 8 is now in the hundreds. All right, so my next question would be, how does the regrouped tens that we had up here in the 2 affect the result of step 3? You should have noticed that 9 times 9 equals 81 tenths. What changed is when we added those 2 tens that we had to regroup, and then it changed it to 83 tenths. Now we're on step 4. Now we have to multiply the last place value, which is the hundreds. So we have to multiply the 9 times 2, and 9 times 2 equals 18. And we're going to call it 1800s because the 2 is in the hundreds place value. Now you need to remember to add that 800 up here, or the 8 that's on top in the hundreds place. So 18 plus 800 is a total of, I can't even think right now, 26, I believe. Yeah, 2600. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and place that 6 in the hundreds place value, and then the 2 in the thousands. And that's how we get our final answer. So in one day, 2,637 passengers fly from New York to London. When you multiply a multi-digit number by a one-digit number, why do you begin by multiplying the ones digit? Why do we start in the ones digit? Because it's important that we start in the least place value, because the one we need to regroup, as you saw, we did a lot of regrouping, the 2 tens, the 800s. So it's important we start in the smallest place value, or the least place value, which is the ones place. How can you tell if your answer is reasonable? How do you know if this is an accurate answer? Good, you should have stated, I'm going to go back a few pages, that in your estimation, we had 2,700. 2,700, and our answer is 2,637. There you go. You can see that your estimation, your product, is close to your estimation, which is what we want, because now you can verify if your answer is reasonable. All right, your key word is multiplication, since we are working on multiplication. All right, so now we're going to be doing the example on page 28. It's very similar to the previous example, except this time we're working with thousands place value. I'll go ahead and read, and please make sure you follow along on page 28. A commercial airline makes several flights each week from New York to Paris, France. If the airline serves 1,978 meals on its flight each day, how many meals are served for the entire week? Okay, so this is really important, and I underline entire week because we need to figure out how many days are in 1 week. Good, you should have stated that there are 7 days in 1 week. And this is important because this 1,978 meals is how much they serve in 1 day. All right, and now below that, it's just a little information. Whenever you're multiplying a larger number or a greater number by 1-digit number, you just repeat the same process of starting in the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and then even to the thousands. You go all the way to the greatest place value until all place values have been multiplied. All right, so we need to start off with estimation. Again, estimation is super important because it's going to help you know if your answer or your final product is accurate. So we have 1,978 rounded to the nearest thousand to 2,000. And then we have 2,000 times 7. Now our basic fact is 2 times 7 multiplied by 1,000. So 2 times 7 equals 14, and 14 times 1,000 equals 14,000. So our final answer should be close to 14,000. Now, after we have estimated, we now need to do step 2, which is multiplying the ones. So we need to multiply 7. I think this one was purple. 7 times 8. 8 ones. That's why we have this off to the side. 7 times 8 ones equals 56 ones. Now we need to place our 6 in the ones place, and that's why it's right here in the ones, and then the 2 in the next place value, which is tens, and that's why we have the 5 up here in the on top of the tens place value. After multiplying the 1 digits, what do you do with the product? And I basically had just explained it, that your answer, your 6 goes in the ones place value and your 5 goes in the tens place value. Now we move on. Now after we have multiplied our ones, we need to move to the next place value to the left, which is our tens. Now we have to multiply our 7 times our 7 tens. Ooh, that was not good. Let's just erase that. I'm going to use a darker color. So you need to multiply your 7 times your 7 tenths. Now again, remember that 7 is in the tens place value. That is why we are multiplying by 7 times 7 tenths. Now 7 times 7 is a basic fact, which equals 49, and 49 tenths. Now we need to remember that we need to add that 49 plus our 5 tenths that we have up here when we regrouped. So 49 plus 5 tenths equals 54 tenths. So here's my basically explaining this. In the product of step 3, since 7 times 7 equals 49, why is there a 4 in the tens place instead of a 9? Good, you should have stated there's a 9 in the 4 here in the tens place, because when we added our regrouped 5 tens, it changed our product from our answer from 49 to 54. Now, after we multiply the tens, we're going to move on to the next place of value to the left, which is the hundreds. Good, very nice. Now, in our hundreds, we're going to go ahead and multiply 7 times 9. hundreds and the hundreds. The reason because of this is because you had to make sure to multiply the next place value. So 7 times 9 is a basic fact of 63. 63. And then we know when we multiply by the hundreds, so that means 63 hundredths. Then we can't forget to add this 5 that we had regrouped up here. We got to add 63 hundredths plus 5 hundredths should give you 68 hundredths. Now our 8 needs to go in the hundredths place value. That's why we have the 8 here. And then we need to regroup and move our 6 up here on top into the thousands. Good. So now we should multiply the last place value that we have, which is our 1,000. Now we need to multiply the thousands. Now we have 7 times 1,000. And we do this because we have to multiply every single place value. 7 times 1,000 equals 7 thousandths. And now don't forget, we need to add our regrouped number of 6,000. So 7,000 plus 6,000 equals 13,000. We place our 3 in the thousands place value and our 1 in the 10,000s place value. All right, so our final answer is 13,846 meals are prepared. Now we need to compare this to our estimated answer that we had, and our estimation was 14,000. Is 13,846 close to 14,000? Yes. So that makes our answer correct. So, question here is, when you multiply by the greatest place value in step 5, why don't you need to regroup? So when you multiply 7 times 1, why don't you have to place that 1? Because 7 times 1 equals 7. 7 plus 6, because of the regrouped, is 13 thousandths. Why is it that I could just write 13,000 in my answer right here? Good, you should have stated, because the greatest place value is in thousands, and we don't have anything past that. All right, go ahead and we're going to go ahead and work on this one. This will be our last one. We'll work together, and the rest of them you'll work on your own, and you can check your answers through watching the rest of it. So let's go ahead and complete to find the product. What do we have to do first before we find the answer, the product? Good, we need to estimate. Very nice. So your 796 needs to be estimated to the nearest 100, which is 800. Good. Then you need to multiply your basic fact, which is 6 times 8. And then you multiply it by 100 because the 8 is in the hundreds place. 6 times 8 equals 48 times 100 gives me 4,800. So that's our estimated answer. So our answer must be near this. All right, so let's go ahead and do our standard algorithm of multiplication. And I'm going to go ahead and try to do different colors to help assist the learning. So we got to multiply our 6 times 6 ones. So 6 times 6 equals 36 ones. All right, so I need to place my 6 in the ones place, and my 3 needs to be regrouped and moved to the tens place. Now that we've multiplied our 6 and 6 ones, we now need to multiply our 6 times our 9 tens. And now that we multiply, 6 times 9 equals 36. 36 plus 3 equals... Wait, my apologies. I am so sorry. I think I missed that. Yes, I'm thinking 9 times 4. Sorry. 9 times 6 equals 54, and 54 tens, don't forget. So your 4 needs to be placed in the tens place value, and then your 5 must be regrouped up in the hundreds. Okay? But we made a mistake, my apologies. I forgot to add my regrouped number. Look at that, see? Making mistakes, and it's okay. As long as I can find my mistakes and fix them. So I need to add, I must add my 3 tens that I regrouped, and then I have 57 tens. Now my 7 goes in my tens, and my 5 goes up in my hundreds. Now we do our last multiplication of 6 times 700. And I'm just going to put an H to make it easier. 6 times 7 is a basic fact of 42 hundredths. And I'm just going to put an H to make it easier. And I can't forget to add that 500. So then I have 500, which gives me 4,200 plus 500 gives me a total of 4,700. And so we place our 7 in the hundreds and our 4 in the thousands. And our final answer is 4,776. And that is really close to my estimation. So I would say our answer is correct. All right, go ahead and pause and complete problems 2 through 4. Don't forget to estimate first and then solve just how we've been doing. Once you are done, you may press play for the answers. I'm going to go ahead and press play now. There are your answers. You can pause it so that way you can look at your answers. And move on to the next slide. Go ahead and complete same thing, page 29, numbers 5 through 10. Go ahead and pause this now and press play when you're ready. There are your answers. Good job. Very nice. Now let's go ahead and complete the last part, which is problems 11 through 18. And press pause. Complete it on your own. When you're ready, press play. Here are your answers. Good, very nice. So make sure that you always find the estimate first. It's really important. Alrighty, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.